Happy Friday, everybody. This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric, and I make apps. Now, this is our weekly live stream where we talk about whatever we want to talk about in terms of apps, app development, have a look at our different app store pages and everything, and just kind of, completely unscripted. We don't have a topic. We don't have anything to talk about. Anything anybody wants to talk about, we talk about. Now, I might keep it a bit short today because I'm not feeling too well just this afternoon. But so rather than the 2-hour sessions that we normally do, we might do it a bit quicker today. So hey, Reese Wiggins, first in the chat. Glad you're here, Reese. We got Bart Raka. Happy Friday, gangsters. Hey, gangsters. Yasser Computing, how are you? And Parash is here too. All right. So for me, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week. Like it seemed like I was doing a lot of traveling. A lot of driving around, meeting with clients, meeting with prospects, meeting with developers. I did a video earlier this week talking about the first couple of days this week, or first 3 days this week, meeting with a lot of different QA companies, and that was, that was okay. I mean, it was, I haven't made a decision yet, but still going through. We're gonna have a meeting with that on Monday. Also, this week reached 26,000 subscribers on the channel, so another 1,000 up. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like another milestone. But the big thing was, I went to a networking event the other morning, and on the way back, I got the email from. So I re-released Ear Spy. Ear Spy became Ear Agent. It was suspended, so I changed the name to Ear Assist, which is the same name I used to have for another one, but I thought at least I'll have the same package name, all the backlinks and everything still going there. I went through and I removed everything, at least I think I removed everything that was anything spy related. We got a new icon, new screenshots, did a new video for it, new description, everything. Get everything that I could think of to do it. And the other morning I get a suspension email again. So they suspended the pro version again. They didn't suspend the free version, but I unpublished it because I figured whatever it is, maybe it's just a case of it's so annoying. It's almost like at some point, we go through the appeal process again. So I get somebody to listen to me, and I haven't appealed it yet, but I guess I'll just have to, because I think, look, I did everything you guys told me to do. I don't quite understand it. Although there was one bit in there which it could have been that I did leave in there that was that could have had that implication, but I don't think so. I thought we did a pretty good job of updating it all. So Rifat, hey, how are you? I'll be in Cambridge tomorrow. I was thinking about 2:00, or but if we could discuss afterwards. Soft Technologies. Hey, how's it going? Charles, how are you? Hello there. I finally made it to the stream today after a while. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it to the stream today. Rio T, hey, how's it going? Hey, everybody. Let's see. So Bart Raka, how's Ear Agent doing back on Google Play? Okay, so yeah, it was on Google Play it was approved. I think it was Monday morning. It was approved, the free version. The paid version was approved last week, so I was getting payments going through. So that was good. Like to get that. So I turned on the ads again, started feeding ads into it, and then Ear Agent came back, and then Wednesday morning they suspended the paid version again, and it's like, I'm wondering if it has to do with stuff that's out of my control, like stuff in the reviews or something, or there was one onboarding screen where they had spy imagery in it, which I removed, but there was one bit where it still said no more secrets, and I'm wondering if that's what it is. But it's that just the suspension, just like you make a change. It's like the feedback loop. The feedback loop should be make a change, test it, make a change, test it, make a change, test it, not make a change, make sure you get it right, because if you get it wrong, we're taking it away forever. And that's kind of what it is. And it's not the same for all apps. I was gonna do a video about it. This is what I was gonna do a video about it this week too, and I thought you guys don't keep hearing about this app again and again and again. Because I have other apps too that probably I should be putting more effort into. But it was also kind of the thing where we have clients, they're coming to us to get their apps made and everything, and I can't be sitting there saying to clients on one side, you should do an app, and then at the same time on the YouTube channel saying, they keep suspending everything because it's kind of a fringe case. It's not like it was doing some sort of like the kind of stuff my clients does is not pushing the boundaries, but we do get that a lot. Like because I had EarSpy out for such a long time, a lot of the stuff we would get would be like new project requests. It'd be somebody saying, I want to be able to track what my wife, I want to find out where my wife is at all times. You know, stuff like that. Just like really creepy stuff. Like I need to hack into your WhatsApp messages. Can you help me? I'm like, no, we can't. In fact, it's just a simple application, right? And I had people come to me with these fringe cases, like really, like real surveillance type things that would like not even be possible. Like for me, one of the things I always have difficulty with is the battery life. Like if we had something where you're constantly monitoring the activity of somebody else, and this app is running in the background, we have to think about the battery life and how much that does it, and how do we kick that back up, how do we run as a background process everything. I mean, from a technical point of view, when you start thinking about it, sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. But then you got the whole approval part. So it does. So congrats on the subs count. Thank you very much. Jose Ali Rivas Gomez says, "Hi Eric, how's it going? Can you look at my new app and give me some advice? It's on Google Play. You can find it by searching Stunning Movie All Papers." Stunning Movie All Papers. Okay, let's go to so we're going to share the screen here. Let me just bring up Google Play first. So this is for Jose. And again, I sometimes forget to say this, but I'm not. This is more like we all could have a look at it together. I'm not an expert at anything. So you have the paid version and the free version. So look at the paid version. I just want to see if you have any reviews on the paid version. Okay, cool. Let's go back to let's go to the free version. Okay, so we've got the you got the screenshots. Let's see, everyone. So you got personalization. Okay, cool apps and games for everyone. You got 9 reviews, all 5 stars. You got 100+ installs. Let me ask you guys a question here, because it's out of curiosity. When you see something that has all 5 stars, do you think that this must be really good if everybody's giving 5 star, or do you think there's obviously some sort of bot in place? Because I noticed on Audible, when I download audiobooks, it seems like review fraud is just rampant over on Audible. Like it was just like there'll be like 100 and like you look at an audiobook and I'll have like 200 reviews, all 5 stars, all placed on the same day or over a course of like 2 days, and it's just and then no more sends, and then finally there'll be one person who leaves a review saying all these reviews are stupid, it's a stupid book or whatever. So I mean, the reason I'm asking that was because I wonder if it's beneficial to have like 1 4-star review in there. But I mean, you can't control what your users are doing. All you can do is you can control your friends. Like you get your friends to do it, which is I think is fine. I mean, you only have so many friends. But let's have a look at the screenshot. So first of all, let's look at the title: Stunning Movie Wallpapers, 4K Film Backgrounds. Okay, so cool. And the screenshot is kind of okay. Then this is another case where you can have you can have something where you have some screenshots with a bit more detail on them, like download the latest movies, wallpapers updated weekly or whatever the features, and then the benefits of it. So the benefits would be, share your love of cinema with your wallpaper, whatever, something like that. Maybe you can even have like a stock image with the cinema in the background, like a cinema in the background, like a box office, and then the phone in the foreground or something like that. Or maybe popcorn. I mean, we got popcorn over here on the thing. But what do the rest of you guys think there? So, anybody else have any feedback for Jose there? That's just my opinion. But it's pretty new. The app, it looks like it's pretty new. It's only released well, it was updated on the 1st. I don't know if it would be on. Let's have a look at it on App Annie. While we're here. Okay. I have to say, I really didn't like the old App Annie look with the actual person named Annie on it, but I miss it now. Let's go with Google Play. Same with wallpapers. Let's have a look at the ASO rankings over here. So it is actually here. Let's go to United States. Okay, it doesn't seem to be ranking for any keywords on here. So if we're to do movie poster. Actually, yeah, let's see. Study movie wallpapers. You don't have the word poster in there. I would think that would be something that people would search for. Let's see if while that's loading. So, it's taking ages. App Annie takes ages sometimes. Well, we'll come back to that. I would think that we're not actually ranking there yet. Probably wouldn't be ranking because it's not in the title. We'll come back to that one. All right, so next, Yasser Computing. Is there any way to get the Keystore back from your app on Google Play? Not if you did it the Keystore generated way. So now they have that new way, which I've never actually used, where you could store the Keystore file on Google Play. So that way, at least you can retrieve it if you need to. But no, I've had the same problem where we just weren't able to do it. There's no, it's that unique. It's very important that you keep that Keystore file, unless they've come up with a new way to do it. But I would check your backups, check your bin file, or check your trash can, whatever, and see if you can find it. But I've had that problem where we release an app. I tell the story all the time. Release an app called Time Goal in the early days. The Indian team released it. I did all the descriptions and the screenshots and everything, and then I did all this advertising for it. I thought this time I would do it right. I spent all this money on advertisements and all the social media stuff, had all these links to it, and then they came back, and when I went for an update, they said they lost the Keystore file. They couldn't update it. They had to create a new one. Actually, they didn't tell me that. What they did was they released it and gave me a link to the new one. And I said, wait, no, I don't want a new one. That doesn't make sense. I don't want a new package name. All the links, everything's going back to the old one. And then they finally came back forward and said, we can't do it. We lost the file and stuff like that, which was just, it was terrible. Cody with Kip, CIP, Kip. What's your main source of getting new clients? How do you approach them? Do you approach them how remote or local? So there's different ways. Like a lot of times they'll just ring us, right? So we have a process. So we've done a lot of work on SEO over the years. So if you're searching for app developers in Somerset or app developers in here, there are like a lot of location pages, a lot of industry pages, a lot of blog post content, and a lot of that does is it serves as like hooks. So there's like keywords out there. The same with some of the YouTube videos. Some of the YouTube videos will bring in clients. So if somebody's looking for an app developer in the UK, they might find one of our videos and come in, which is kind of like the videos are not really that polished. It's just me talking, like today, like just threw a baseball cap on. It's not it's not my best self, but it's so there's that. Also, we're doing a lot lately with I've been doing a lot lately with networking. This is something I'm trying to get into because I've never been very good at it. So I went to a couple networking events over the past few weeks. I went to a couple this week actually. So just to get out and meet people, talk to other businesses, see what they do, and that's been very interesting. And so yeah, it's there's so many different ways of doing it. When you think about it, the big thing is they have to know you exist. They have to know that you exist, and they have to have some sort of portfolio in place. You could either do outbound marketing, where you go out and cold call and all that stuff, which like I said, I've read like half a dozen books on cold calling. I read all kinds. I mean, just this week I'm reading. I'm rereading Way of the Wolf, which I think is a very good book. Jordan Belfort's one on sales and the straight line system. But I listened to the audiobook on Audible, and I have the Kindle version. It's one of those few books where I have three. I wanted to be able to thumb through it, which is hard to do on a Kindle and definitely hard to do on an audiobook. But I've listened to that a few times. So like I'm trying to get better at the sales stuff, but still, when it comes to calling people, I'm not good at the outbound stuff. I'd rather just make a whole bunch of content and hope they find Overpass, which is like the passive way of doing it. It's like not the like if I was a real man, I'd go out there and bring those clients in. But trying to get better at it. But also putting content out there. We can help as many people as possible. And the thing I like though. You know what I love about coding with Kip, what I love about working with clients is when we have those initial meetings. Sometimes it's more fun to me to have the meeting to talk about getting the client than it is actually doing the project, because that's when we get to look at like the kind of infrastructure they have. So I was talking with somebody recently, and they had some Salesforce architecture in the back end. And I've done Salesforce development before. I hate it. I'm not a fan of Apex and all that stuff. I didn't really like it. I know there's a lot of people out there who are really good at it, and it pays a lot of money and it's very expensive. But it was just being able to bring that in. To me, it's fun to say, okay, so you have this CRM over here, you have this SharePoint site over here, you've got this you got Salesforce over here as well. Maybe you got like loads of different things, or they have their own custom infrastructure. It could be on Azure, it could be on AWS, it could be like their servers hosted in their office. One time it was like a desktop, so like there was this desktop that was downloading data on an hourly basis into CSV files, right? That it was like, how can we make that into an app, right? But you can, because we're the technical people. Like we know, like, and you're the technical people. Like we're all of us on this call are technical people. We're the ones who go in, and while we don't, like, I don't know their businesses. Like I've done apps for insurance companies, I've done apps for construction companies. I know nothing about insurance. I know nothing about construction, right? We did apps for scientists. We did apps for all kinds of industries, and I don't know those industries. I just know at some point it boils down to a flow chart in my head. It's like I remember working on this trading system. When I was working in an investment bank, we did this a commodities trading system. It was me and another developer, and it was really cool because in the end, was sitting down with the floor traders who were doing the commodities trading, and they were they were speaking in language I just could not understand. Right? It was like, and they were using words that are just not familiar. Kind of like us, like developers. They have their language, they have their jargon. We have our jargon, and it's being the bridge between those two is kind of fun. Right? But in the end, it came to a flow chart. So get to this stuff, and I started using their jargon, and it was kind of. I remember once being in a meeting saying about, and I was telling them how something worked, and as I was saying it, I realized, dude, I sound really cool as I say this, even though I am not a floor trader. I just do the software, and that's the fun thing about when you work for companies is you go in there, and if you whatever background knowledge you have, whatever jobs that you've done, or whatever systems you worked with, you have that expertise that insight that goes into something like that. Sometimes you talk about just apps that you've seen. Like you see an app, and rather than see an app and say, oh, okay, well, it is what it is. As a developer, a lot of times we see things and we go, I wonder how that works. How does that work underneath? If you look at something like Face App or something like that, I wonder how that works underneath. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it would be easy to clone it, but I'm sure there's a lot more involved. Facebook, for example, right? If you look at the front end of Facebook, you think, I can make Facebook. It's PHP, database, whatever. Even though there's it's super scalable. Like there's all these algorithms in the background that you can't see, but like if you were just going to build something, it's not that difficult. So how's that for a tangent there, Coding with Kip? Apavelli says, hey, Eric, what do you think about the announcements from Microsoft about the Surface, Neo, and Duo? I haven't seen those. I mean, I'm not really on the Microsoft radar, but I was talking to somebody, recently. We were talking about how Microsoft just seems to be getting cool again, right? I see the Surface, and I think, God, I wouldn't mind going back to Windows, just going on Windows 10 full time. It's just I can't compile I can't compile iOS apps in it, and it's like and that's the one thing. So it helps me to have a Mac, right? One of the things I just can't stand is the different keyboard layouts and stuff on a Mac for Windows, or then on Windows, and just like little things I talked about before, like when you see demos. A lot of times I see demos and they're on a Mac or they're on Linux, especially if they're doing something like Node or Flutter and stuff like that. However, Windows is a good operating system, but I don't know anything about it. I'll have to check it out. Let's have a look. Hey, let's do a reaction video. Let's have a look at it now. So, Surface, Neo, and Duo. Oh my God. Oh. This is the skeptical slash gear. Is it like a folding phone? Okay, so I honestly know nothing about it. I think I've seen it in my Flipboard feed, and I just didn't narrow in on it. I don't know. I guess I have no opinion about it. I'll have to have a look at that. But let's see. Pradip Pinjani says, "Hi, I'm watching your video for the first time, an Android developer with 3 years experience, but still have not my own account on Google Play Store. I want to create an account and I want to upload my own apps." So Pradeep, why haven't you? If you've been a developer, why don't you have your own account? Because it's only $25 for like a one-off fee. So it might be worth setting one up, and then at least you could, if you have the skills, I think you should set one up. BizYG, smash the like button, everyone. Thanks very much. Yeah, make sure you smash that like button. Let's see. So Pradeep says, okay, but I'm confused about what kind of app I can work on for earning. Can you help me? This is occasionally I'll get calls from prospects, and it'll be, let's say it's like, they come to me and they don't know what kind of app they want. They just want something that's profitable, right? And if I knew every app that was profitable, then I'd probably just be building them, right? Like if I knew if I spend $1,000 on this app, or sorry, if I spend $10,000 in this app and I knew it was going to make me $100,000, then I would go out, take out a loan, and I would do it again and again and again. But it's like more like releasing something that you like, right? You're, as a software developer, you should be putting stuff out there. You don't just wait for the big app idea to come to you and then you build it. You should be building things as you go, because you're going to get better as you go on, right? A lot of people, I think of it like the you want to be a sniper, right? You just want like a one shot, one hit kill, right? You just want to you just want to do the one hit kill, right? And it's your best app, which is good. Like if you had one app you could focus on completely, that's perfect. However, you still need to go through the reps, right? You need to go through the practice to get to that state. So and you might hit it like first time, but you have to this is one of the things I find difficult about repetitive content policy and the Apple 4.3 thing, is that they penalize you for having too many apps, and but it still doesn't mean you shouldn't be producing this kind of stuff. You learn from every single project that you put out there. You'll learn about the marketing, you'll learn about the sales, you learn about how the Google Play console works, you learn how to look up keywords, all that kind of stuff. And even if you have to say, I'm just waiting for that moment of inspiration, that one big idea to hit me, I don't think that's worth doing. I mean, when I was when we released our first few apps, and then I had this team of 7 people in India. Like I went through this hire a dedicated team thing, and it was just like, it was for this company, and they were the developers. They were like brand new developers. They didn't know anything. So I figured, well, if they're my team, I'll give them the time to do it. I'll say, read this, and then after like 2 months, the company raised the rates. They said, oh, that was the introductory rate, and then they raised it again. And I was like, fine. I said, forget it. I don't want to do it. But it was difficult having 7 developers and trying to keep them busy and coming up with ideas. Right? It was just because it wasn't like I'm thinking. It was more like there's money running out, and I need to make use of this. I can't just have them doing nothing. So I would like think of an idea and do something, put something out. I mean, it would be nice if we could all just say, I just have this one this one thing. I'm going to put it out, especially if you're going to code it yourself and market it yourself and all that kind of stuff. As an indie developer, I think it helps to go through the reps. It helps to know a bit how it works. Let's see. Proshbot says, Eric, can you have a look at our new screenshot? The new screenshot of our app, Extreme Personal Voice Assistance. All right. Extreme Personal Voice Assistant. Let's go screen share. Is it this one? Extreme. Oh yeah. So you get 2 versions. Cool. All right, replace video.
When we made this, our mission was to build a platform which allows you to manage every important thing of your day via voice.
Parash, is this yours? Am I looking at the right one? Parash, if you're still there, is this? Am I looking at the right application here? I just want to make sure because this is a good video. Did you get like a voice actor to do it? By the way, you could get voice actors on Upwork pretty cheap. Like I did that for a few apps.
When we made this, our mission was to build a platform which allows you to manage every important thing of your day via voice. We wanted to make an assistant just for you, a personal assistant who understands your needs and adapts to you. Would friend?
But when you said look at the screenshots. So I'm doing this silently. Sorry about that. Just not very interesting. Okay, so the first screenshot is this guy. I don't know. Here's a question: do you think having a picture of somebody is a good thing because, or do you think, like in your mind, do you think that's not you? Like that's that's let's see, smart suggestions. I'm Batman. All right. I think the screenshots look good. I mean, you're focusing very much on the features than the benefits, and I suppose it kind of goes well. But like if you had a few, I think if you could try a few, Parash, like where you go of the benefits of it, right? It's going to simplify your life. There's so much going on in life that you make your life simpler, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you specifically decided you wanted an assistant app and you're deciding between the different ones, and the features are going to be important. So the features are important, but if you're going to reach out and do like an ad to like approach people who may not have considered it, then the benefits of the application might be good too. What do the rest of you guys think there? Oh, cool. Let's see. All right, so Croc Smile says, hey Eric, how long after you released your first app did you start making at least $50 a day? It was like, I think it was about 6 months. And that was a combination of in-app purchases and AdMob. But that's not like a general rule because some people have, I mean, there's apps I've had out for years that don't make $3, that don't make $1 a day. I have apps that I've had out for years that don't make any money each day. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but it just happened to be the case for that one. So there's no, we're all the App Store is all based on, I say it's based on merit, but that's not necessarily true. The best apps don't win out. It's the ones that are most findable, the ones that your users see the benefit of the most, and the ones that you can get them in there using, leaving reviews and everything like that. So like I can't go out and just reskin something and then expect it to do just the same. I mean, when I did I have done that with that expectation that, okay, all I got to do is work at this and it's going to do it. And it's true, you need to get it found. You need to make sure that you get all the backlinks to it. You make sure if somebody's searching for it, it shows up in search. And if you can do it, if it's a paid application and you could do ads that go to it, then that would be beneficial too. Let's see. 5 stars means it's not real yet. Yeah, I think so. Every time I see all 5 stars, but I suppose if there's only 2 or 3. Let's see. Chord Funk, what did I miss? You didn't miss anything. We're just chatting. Let's see, Prush. How don't you get copyright issues in the screenshots of the movie wallpaper? I was thinking that too. Like, would you? Because you have a movie picture posters in the one we were looking at earlier. I was wondering that too. A DJ QE says, Eric, my developer is having difficulty making drawing apps brush to have pressure level, like on Autodesk Sketch app. What SDK can she use for the pen pressure in iOS? Any tip? I thought of Pencil Kit. It's Pencil Kit. To be honest with you, DJ QE, also the quality of the brush stroke sucks compared to Autodesk Sketch. Feels like the Vector Brush HD. I've never done like a specific Apple Pencil API. I've done the drawing like with the fingertip thing, which is definitely not pressure sensitive. On the move event where you draw the line, whatever. But I haven't done anything on that. But Pencil Kit sounds like that would be it. I mean, there's so much in the Apple Pencil that we have to have that stupid pencil rather than just any stylus, that it must be something to do with that API. But I haven't looked into that at all. OLA Studio says, is there any way to find total of no downloads? Total number of downloads in Google Play Developer Console. Yes. Well, you have the current users, but then you also have the you used to have the total number of downloads there on the front page, but now you could go into the page. Now mine's been around since like 2012. Well, some might have been around for a long time, so it takes a while to get that. Like, you have to go through and find it. But let's go. Actually, so I think I could only do like 2 years at a time. But you just basically go. Let me go to all applications. I share a screen again. So look at that. Suspended again. There's all the new stuff. Not to keep going on about it. New screenshot. New everything, and it was suspended again. So let's go to one that actually has some decent like current downloads. I think the Hebrew Bubble Bath does pretty well. Learn Japanese. Let's do a Japanese one here. So this is the current users, current 2000 revenue. Like the revenue last 30 days, like I said, $4 or £4.14, which is not great, but it's something. And that's that total's not advertised. That's just in-app purchases. And then we go to how do we do it again? We go to statistics. And then this is where we go up here, and this is where you select it. So you select your time frame. They used to have lifetime, but for me, it won't go back that. Well, I guess it does. For this app, was this 20? Actually, no, it's been out longer than that. But so we got 2016, and then from here we can go through and select what metric we want to do, which is unique devices per review. We don't want active devices. We want downloads. What was it? User acquisitions, all users. No. Device acquisition. I think it's device acquisition. So obviously, there we go. And then it separates it by different Android versions. But there's different ways you could go through and mess around with the reports and everything and get that done. But yeah, it is possible. But if you have like several years, it might be more difficult to do. You might need to do it in 2 groups because it won't let you do a time span that long. Let's see. John Mullan, Eric, I'll try to catch up with the live stream later after work. One thing, when will you be doing your own TED Talk? So yesterday, that was the thing I did yesterday. I went to a TED Talk. So it was like an all day watching TED Talks. A friend of mine was one of the speakers. So it was went and watched that yesterday, and it was pretty cool. It was in Oxford, we were talking about doing TED Talks and stuff, and that would be cool. Anil Rao says, Anil Rao says, but in the developer console, I'll still ask why I was requesting SMS permission earlier. Even after giving my app proper explanation, they keep rejecting my app. Why? Are they giving you a definition? So like, are you putting it in the, you get SMS permission? Still ask why. Anil, what are they giving you? What are they actually saying to you? Are they saying you're not saying what it is? Let's see. Bizwajit says, hey everybody, if you like space shooter games, you could try Dark Space Legends, made by me. It took more than 2.5 years to make. Thanks. So yeah, Dark Space Legends, we looked at that one before. Parash Bot says, how much time do you work every day? It depends. I mean, you know what? I think I might be stressing myself out a little bit because I do work a lot, but I also do. But it's like it's different types of stuff. So sometimes it'll be a meeting with clients, or it'll be like there's sometimes I'm just sitting around developing things, and I'm like I need to get time for the computer because I got to work on this thing for one of the clients, and get that time in. I just need to answer some emails, and I hate answering emails on my phone, so I do it. So I have a pretty, my schedule's pretty boring because I get up early. I get around 4:30, 4:45, depending on what time I get to bed. Sometimes I'll push it back to like 5:15 or something. So I'll do that, and then I'll come into the office for a little while. I try to meditate, right? But it's a habit I just can't seem to keep going. Like I'll do like 3 or 4 days in a row, and then I'll be like, I feel like really good about myself for doing it. But then it's just the time. It's like that's the one thing that gets pushed aside all the time. I do go to the gym. Most weeks I go 5 days out of the week, but if there's something that comes up, like this week I had a networking event in the morning that I went to on Wednesday, I think, and so that was like a day that I missed the gym, and it's so difficult to go in the afternoon. Like if you have it at a set time, like I could do it at a set time, but it's difficult going through the day thinking I need to get to the gym, but then I also have to, because there's always a to-do list, right? There's always a to-do list of things that I should be doing. Like I should answer those emails. I should work. Try to find out this bug. I should do this. There's no end to the list of things that you could be doing. It's like when you're a kid and you're like you complain about being bored, and your mom says, well, you could clean your room. You're like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. I have all these things that I should be doing, but I don't want to do. So like if I go to the gym in the afternoon, it's nice because it's empty, right? There's nobody there. But at the same time, I feel like I should be doing something. So that's part of my routine. But then at 9 is usually I'm in the office, start, and then I carry on with the stuff. We have our team meeting every day at noon, which we kind of keep moving around, but at the moment it's at noon. Then I usually leave around 6 or 6:30 at night, and sometimes I'll come back in. Sometimes I'll come back into the office afterwards. And there's other times where I think, well, I have a laptop, I could do this from home, but I find it so difficult to work from home. Like I want to have that separation in my mind. So let's see. Pradeep says, on 26 July, I have been attacked with the ransomware and lost the Keystore. Any way to get it, guys? I don't know of any way. Newt Salamanders found it. The default always says 30 days. Okay. Let's see. Bizwajit says, you can watch the gameplay on my YouTube channel, just promoting before the major update. Oh yeah, sure. Cool. Then that's the Dark Space Shooters. Let's have a look at it. Why not? Dark Space Legends. Yep, this is one. So for those of you guys who want to have a look at Bizwajit's game there it is, Dark Space Legends. Let's see. Parash says, has there been a time when you couldn't find further business and you have no work to do? If so, what do you do during those slow days? That's when I go to the gym. Like there was back in February and March, it was like really slow. And I think I blame it on Brexit, because I think it was like, even though we haven't gone through Brexit yet, we don't know what's going to happen still. But at the time, the deadline was March 31st, I think, and I think most companies didn't want to do a new project. Everyone was kind of holding off, and I just kind of scaled up, and that's when I think I may have got a bit depressed at the time. That's when I got rid of the Mustang. That was when I stopped. Around that time, shortly after, I stopped doing the videos every day, just because one of the people on my team had said, I think you should do it less often. And at that point, I thought, yeah, it's just like, I think I was just beaten down, right? So it is kind of the up and down, but I was like, I got really fit in that amount of time. Like, I was like, I go into the gym because I felt like at least that was something I had control over, right? So it was just sort of like this thing. And then things really picked up again, and we have quite a lot of projects on. But I was trying to think of ways to scale up so that we could do more. Because, like I said, yesterday I was out all day at the TED Talks, and like I had so many emails to respond to, and things coming in, and then there's also the potential new clients. You have to talk with them and everything. So it's but yeah, there's always gonna be slow days. But like I said, like, when you think about it, there's always something you could be doing. Like, if you read like David Allen's Getting Things Done, GTD method, right? You have this someday maybe list, right? And that's when you revisit that someday maybe list. Those things you were gonna work on, but yeah, never got around to. Like, if you have nothing to do, it's very easy just to wallow, like me, just wallow in it and go to the gym. There's other times you snap out of it and say, okay, like, I could write a blog post. I could do some, write a blog post. We do a video. Maybe we'll have explore some new topics to talk about on the videos. Maybe we could think about what other new avenues could we put out there. Maybe this is the time to do that Flutter tutorial that I keep putting off, and not giving the Flutter tutorial, like actually just doing the Flutter tutorial, like going through and I've been through so many Flutter tutorials, and yeah, that's kind of, so I mean, when you do work for yourself, yeah, there's going to be times when everything's really slow, and that's when you're glad that you're small. That's when you're glad that you don't have all these employees and everything. And there's other times where you think, well, I'm always going to be small because I don't have all these employees, right? So it's a chicken and egg thing, right? So let's see. Pradeep says, I'd like to work with you and I want to learn a lot from you, sir. Well, I mean, yeah, send us a CV. I mean, I'm not sure if we're really looking for anybody at the moment. Like I said, it's up and down. But let's see. Rodrigo. Hi, hello, Rodrigo. So, Mega Man 2016 says, hi, Eric. I'll have to catch the rerun. I got to the gym, alpha male style. Yeah, gotta go to the gym. Yeah, go to the gym, man. We're gonna muscle up. Was it? I'm trying to think of like an alpha male. Was it massive gains, bro? You need to do some massive gains. Ugh. See, this is how bad it's like. I'm a software developer, so like I spend a lot of time sitting at my desk. Sometimes I'll do the standing desk thing, right? But like, because I do this, I'm thinking like the gym is more important now than it used to be. Like, I never went to the gym before 3 years ago. I'd run a lot. I'd go out for a run, but going to the gym is kind of fun. But I still have this belly I can't get rid of. But when I get into something, I buy like all the equipment and all the like protein shakers and all that stuff around the office, and but yeah, alpha male style. Whoa. Let's see. Open for Profit says, can I use a brand name as my game title on Play Store? I don't think you can. I think you'll get pulled. I've heard so many people who, I mean, you could try. No, don't even try it. You don't want to get a suspension. I think a lot of people have done. Let's see. A lot of people have done like that in their titles, and they get it pulled almost immediately, because you got to think, if you start ranking better for that brand than they do, then they're gonna they're gonna pounce on you for it, mainly because it looks like an affiliation, right? You say it's unofficial, and people used to do that all the time, but no, you can't. I mean, I know Rodrigo has had some issue with that before. If you don't mind, I hope he doesn't mind me saying. But on one, he didn't even mention, he didn't even do it. But he didn't even say the name of another app in his title. It was just similar to the name of another app, and that was completely non-intentional. And they had it, he had some problem with that. It was just completely whatever. So Newt Scamander says, sorry. Hi Eric, what's a good way to get reviews? We have until now less than 50 reviews from almost 100,000 downloads and dialogue inside the app asking for a review, but still no reviews are coming in. So there's different ways. I mean, the pop-ups that you use, like the ones from God, what was it? I'm thinking Appium, but it's not Appium. It's there's one on iOS that a lot of people use, but those ones that come up and it just it looks like a normal dialogue. Do you like our app? And if you say yes, then they ask you to go rate it and everything. That's something that we see so much. It's almost like banner ads. We just ignore it, right? We just close, cancel, right? So we did something different where we had a cartoon character and just a please, a little girl saying, please, this app needs reviews. Help a developer out and all that kind of stuff. And that seemed to work a lot better in terms of getting those reviews. And just try to be a bit more playful with it, and just in the pattern interrupt. If you see something pop up and they know what it is, right? You can just tell what it is immediately. Then they're gonna, they're just gonna close it. FD Royd, hey everyone, how's it going? FD Royd, Fiction Studios. Talk about your first app developed by you, Android or iOS. Which technologies have you used? So the first one, I was going to develop my own app, but I was learning how to do it in PhoneGap, and I got a book on PhoneGap, and I was going to do it in PhoneGap, and then in the end, I realized I wasn't getting anywhere with it. Wasn't doing what I wanted to do. My first app idea, which I never did, was a body alarm. So something that it was something that if you're walking through a dark alley or something and you have your phone in your hand, you can press a button and it will send your GPS coordinates and have an alarm that goes off that makes a lot of noise and light flash and everything like that. The reason I didn't go into that one was because I thought if it failed, it's like one of those things that if you make something that's super important and you're relying on it not to crash, and you're relying on it not to be slow or whatever, and so that was something I never did. So I came up with the ear spy idea, and at first I did start doing that one myself too. I tried to do it in I tried to do that one in Xamarin actually to begin with, and in the end I just one of the Indian companies that I work with, they said they could do apps too. They couldn't, but so they did that one, and then we did the iOS one based on that. So those are both in native technologies. But let's see. Has anyone seen increase in their downloads from Thailand? I haven't. My app just got a boost of 8,000 downloads this week from Thailand. That's good. Liam, hey Eric, hi chat. Hey Liam, suspended again? Yeah, suspended again. I know, man. I'm just oh man. But at least I think it didn't count as a new suspension because it's the same app they suspended a month ago. So it was part of me was I don't want to lose the whole account, right? So that's one of the reasons why I removed the other one. I think I might just play it safe on these ones. I got other stuff that I need to focus on. And, every time I say maybe I should just let this one go, I get a lot of criticism for being you're just gonna let them win, but after a while, it's just tiring. It's tiring, the ups and downs of this, and it's the fact that it's been off the market for so long that I didn't see a huge increase in the number of downloads when I did it, but I did see quite a few. It wasn't nobody saw it. Let's see. Akash NP says, hello, I'm new here, but I just discovered some of my designs I made for Extreme Voice Assistant were shown here. So, hi. Hey, Akash, how's it going? Ayman Nasser says, hi, Eric. Tech companies use native or hybrid apps. Should I learn native Android development in 2019? You can't go wrong with doing native. The only thing is that if somebody's looking for somebody who could do both platforms, then it's going to be you might not find it so easy. And if you're looking for a job, for me, I still think learning. Look, I think I've spoken to like a lot of clients who are not app developers or prospects that come, and they said they tried to do something first in PhoneGap or Ionic, and then they realized they needed to do it in native, right? But PhoneGap and Ionic can do like a lot of things, right? It's a lot of times I think it's just if you have bad code, or your code is sluggish, or it's not really well optimized, you could blame that on the platform, right? And if something, so it has that. But also those technologies, if you're looking for a job, they could have some technology, like some companies thinking that it's a lower level skill, so they shouldn't have to pay as much for it, which is not true, because it's a great skill to have. I would think going native Android development would be a very good idea, especially you can get really good at it, and not just doing stuff like I do a game, I do whatever. Just think about all the different aspects of it, like how. But again, the reason I don't do native Android development as a general rule is because I want the cross-platform bit. I want to be able to put it into both stores. I say both stores. I know there's a Windows store too, and there's Huawei and there's Amazon and all those other Android stores, but I want to do both platforms. Anil Rao says, Google removed my app long back, saying only default apps can send SMS in the background. Oh, okay. Recently, I tried to resubmit it by removing the SMS functionality. Still no luck. Anyway, to upload a new APK and not submit the form where we fill in why were we asking for SMS permission. Do you still have it in your Android manifest file? I mean, if it's there, then I'm sure it'll pick that up and think, sorry, why do you need this? So, I mean, I would remove it from there just to see if it's still there. Let's see. Chordfunk says, Yo, Eric. Yo, Chordfunk. How do you structure your projects, like the directory structure and the file naming conventions? So I like to have, I like to check everything into Git at the same time. So I'll usually have it's almost like in Subversion, you used to have the trunk, the branches, and the tags. I have a code folder, and then if there's any like variations, like if I had to change something, like for free and pro, like if I'm not using Android Studio, if I'm not using Android flavors, and I just have something I have to manually copy files back and forth, I'll have like another folder for that, and then I'll have another one for scripts, which will actually do the copying of that, and then another folder for Keystore, and then that way I could just commit that entire folder to Git, and then so it might seem a bit heavy. And I know other people put documentation in Git. I think documentation doesn't, like, I don't know if I like the idea of putting documentation, like Word documents and stuff, into these repositories. I think it's but text files, like README files and CMD files, which is readme.cmd. So that kind of stuff I think does go really well in those in source code, because you can see track the changes. But it's very difficult to track the changes in a Word document, because Word does that already. So, but yeah, that's kind of the reason I do that. Let's see. Simon's Supper Time says, Hey Eric, I'm late. I finished my pitch deck for my app concept. What are the major things you would look for in a business pitch PowerPoint deck for an app, and how do I make mine better? I don't know. Like, so you're, I think as long as you can tell the story. So like, you're pitching it to developers, or you're pitching it to investors. So I think it's like, if you can follow through the story, I think that's probably the most important thing. So, because it's like a lot of times if you have, I mean, we quote on projects. A lot of times it'll come with like lots of different text, and kind of, it should do this, it should do this, it should do this. And for me, I'm thinking of it in terms of how does the flow sit, and why does the, what's the first screen going to look like? And then what do I go to next? What do I go to next? And a lot of times I use the same patterns for this stuff. So it's like the same patterns, so the same sidebar menu, or the same, stuff. But like once I get that part, then I can see it. Right? I can see the flow chart in my head. I can see how it works. And that's because I think I'm just very visual that way. But like the amount of times I've had like prospects bring me like a document just saying we should do this, this, and this, and it'd be like long. Sometimes it'd be like a 20-page document, which is just like if I'm just giving a ballpark, I'll just scan it real quick. But like if you just turn around and give a few wireframes based on that, it's like you made the whole process so much simpler. So and the wireframes are there just to walk through the process. The amount of times I say sit down with a client or like I'll do the prospect call, so I'll get the call first and they'll be explaining what they want, and I'll be okay, so let's say we download the application. If you're not registered, you send them to the registration screen. Otherwise you go to the home screen. The home screen is going to have 3 buttons. We'll have a home button, we'll have a settings in the corner, we'll have and then I'll walk them through that. If I click on this, then if I'm creating a new, let's say if I'm doing a picnic application, so like it's a way I could schedule all my picnics. Right, I'm just making this up, but like let's say, so if I would go in there, I would say new picnic. There'll be a new picnic button which will walk me through the steps. Where are you gonna have this picnic? What's the weather gonna be like? All the GPS coordinates, checks the weather, API, everything, and then I go there. But then I also have a history, so I can see upcoming picnics, and I can see picnics I had in the past. And the picnics I had in the past, if I click onto those, I'll see pictures from that picnic that I took, and I'll do that. But as you walk through the process, and then the other people can see that. Then you're basically there. Then you're just talking about we just have a coding issue now. We have like just building it out to do that, which is, I mean, makes it sound easier than it actually is. But Extrude Studio says it was my second day of gym today. Cool, congratulations. I joined yesterday because of the belly I'm growing. I'm growing these days. Look, dude, man, there's an obesity epidemic. You are powerless to do anything about it. Because I got this belly too. And if I'm going to miss a day at the gym, it's usually Thursday because it's on my schedule is the leg day. I'm like, dude. And the ones that I really skimp on when I'm at the gym, like, I'm going and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but like, and all the bench press and everything that I'm fine with, but like, I hate doing pull-ups. I hate doing pull-ups because there's that awkward bit where I could do like 3 decent, okay, I could do 2 decent pull-ups and maybe 4 at a stretch, right? And get that rubber band thing out, and I just, it's like, I know it's not about vanity and just looking cool when you're there, but like, I hate doing those, and I hate doing sit-ups, right? So I do a lot of sit-ups there, but it's just I think I just don't like lying on the floor and writhing around and all that stuff. So but I think it's good that you go the second time, because that's hard. It's hard to keep going. Like, and I think after a while, it's for me, I think if I do it at the same time, then I know, because there's a part of me that's just saying I gotta finish this by 6 because I gotta be at the gym at 6. Otherwise, I won't have time to do that and see my son before he goes to school and all this stuff. So it's kind of this rush. I'm not thinking should I go to the gym. I'm thinking what time how do I get this done so I get done. So let's see. Star News: Node.js versus Laravel for indie mobile developers. Well, Node.js is not really a mobile framework. It's more for server stuff. So and Laravel. I think this is a personal opinion thing. I know lots of people use Laravel and PHP for backends. I like Node. To me, Node.js just seems cleaner than. But to be honest with you, I've never used Laravel. I've used PHP, like standard vanilla PHP, years ago. But I like Node. But what do the rest of you guys think? Ian Griggs says, "Hi." Eric, my game update was rejected by Google due to ads not honoring the ad filter A limits I have in place. I'm using Unity ads. Wonder if you would trust AdMob to more complaint. Let's see. So you're using Unity ads. To be more compliant. Sorry, I've read that wrong. Would you trust AdMob to be more compliant? One of the reasons I use AdMob is because I'm afraid of other ad networks. I think if it's Google talking to Google, then I don't have to worry about anything. But whenever I bring in another ad network, I'm afraid that either they're not going to be compliant. Like I've had like a lot of ad networks, they say, or it's like not just an ad network, but they're like some sort of scheme or something. They need access to the microphone, they market research stuff, right? And they come to me and I go, well, it's totally Google compliant, right? And I'm thinking, look, none of us know what's Google compliant. We just get suspended, right? I don't want to get suspended because of your guys' code, right? And that's why I trust AdMob myself. But if Unity ads are paying more, then there's that. I mean, you have to take that into consideration too. Melissa Riley says, what is the biggest form of procrastination someone who wishes to learn a programming language for the first time, like me, do? I want to learn Python and change my career from being a sysadmin. The biggest form of procrastination, the biggest form of procrastination is just starting, right? If you're just learning and you're just going through the process of doing something, you need like a project that you could work on, I think. Something to do. Like something like Node.js is something I like doing, but I use it for a lot of things. Like even just, I want to go through every folder on my file system and do something, or something like just playing around with it, and thinking about that kind of stuff. So Python, if you want to learn Python, I would imagine, I don't know Python. And the thing that attracts me about Python is the machine learning side of things, the TensorFlow and everything. I know there's different ports of that. You could do it in JavaScript and stuff like that, but I don't see any real good documentation on that. Everything seems to be in Python. So I would think that if you could do something like that, that would be just really, really cool. I'm watching some of these tutorials and stuff. There's a guy who does, I can't remember his name, but he does like a lot of machine learning stuff. And he did one where he does a video where he shows how to do an image processor to see if an image has Darth Vader in it or not, and just sort of like using TensorFlow and everything in Python. I saw that, and that's kind of stuff that just gets you excited about doing it. Because the procrastination is not because, it's just because you don't know where to start. It's the same with everything, isn't it? Like I have all these projects that I need to do, and the amount of times that I just have to open up the code window, right? You just, don't say you're going to code for the entire afternoon. Just say you're going to, the next 5 minutes. You set a timer and do the next 10 minutes of coding or learning this thing. And then once you get into it, you get that flow and that kind of, this is fun. But because it is fun, right? When you start thinking about the stuff that you can do with it. So, yeah, Melissa, I think the biggest form of procrastination is just getting started. Because once you get started, a lot of the people who are on this chat right now, including myself, we love to code these things. It's not just, some people are like, which one makes the most money, which does this, but a lot of it is, what can we have the most fun with? And it's, if you've ever done a task like where you, let's say I have 100 files and I want to go through and rename all of them, right? And you think, I could write some code to do that, or I could go do it manually, and both of them will take me about the same amount of time. I'd go for the code one, just because you can, right? You learn things as you go. Like you'll say, oh, next time you'll do it a different way, So, yeah, that's what I think. Colt Eves says, Eric, I made it again. Any thoughts on Flutter? I mentioned this a while back, and I'm curious as to your thoughts on this. Have you done any client projects with this yet? I have not. We do have one that we're just waiting for the final sign-off, which is going to be done in Flutter. And this might be one that I do myself, because it's like working with the client API, working with their developers, and a lot of times when we have our overseas developers, it's like so much has to be defined in advance, and this is more of an iterative type project. I'm thinking, or I might do the building blocks of it, so the data access and everything would be good experience for me there. But I was talking to, so at the TEDx thing yesterday, I was talking to a developer. He's a software developer, but I didn't get his card. I didn't get any contact details. But it was from China, so I was practicing my Chinese with him, and he said Flutter, and I didn't know what it was, and it was like and then when he said it in English, I said, oh yeah, no, I know Flutter. So apparently a lot of people are using it, but I haven't. It's just, for me, it's if I'm coding it myself, if it's a game, I've been going through Corona, and I try not to do the coding myself. And if it's the overseas developers, it's kind of like I'd rather get it done whichever language they're most comfortable with. But now we're starting to get to the point where we're starting to specify it as Flutter, because I think it's going to have longer. I think it's going to have longer shelf life. But you know, I don't know for certain. Okay, Boris, what's up? Boris Legovic, what's up? I can't do that. You are the best. Smash that bench press. Thanks very much. Oh, actually, Newt's Scam Editor is another question. Here's an app which helps people travel, plan a long-term travel around the world. Travel around the world budget app Leap. So have a quick look at that one. So, budget app Leap, travel around the world. Okay, see, I like this. All right, I know these are not necessarily screenshots, but look at that. I mean, I think that just looks really good. We were talking about something that's budget your long-term trip. I'm just going out and getting some. I'm assuming they're stock images, unless you got, you know, went out with a camera and filmed. But like just going onto something like and getting some nice images. So we're talking about what it is, but also trying to do like a lot of advertisers do, evoke the emotions of that. So I think it's really good screenshots. How many downloads you got? So we're at 5,000 plus. Nice spread of reviews. Cool. Now I think that looks good. Let's see, is this yours? I didn't even ask. So Boris says, a question, Eric. If you make a game and a game is for children, how do you know AdMob will serve allowed ads? Does AdMob filter ads by itself? I think this is another thing. I think it does. I don't think you should really, because you have the sensitive areas of Google, of AdMob, so you can go through and make sure, like, allow sensitive categories like gambling or whatever. But I think it. I don't know if it does. I guess I try not to do apps for kids, even though they're kind of like. I guess my apps kind of like they would appeal to kids, but I don't want to go through the COPPA thing. I don't want to, like, it just seems like that brings a whole load of more problems with it, right? And I think if you have an app that's directed primarily at small children, you don't want to be serving them ads anyway. You know, they're not going to buy anything. They're not going to. I know you would still get the impression, and you might even get the clicks because they're kids. But it's like it's not. I think it's. I think that would be kind of difficult. Cord Funk's up. I'm too much of a dum-dum to do machine learning. I think me too. My son on my birthday this year, he got me a bunch of ebooks on machine learning. He's always talking about, like, I want to learn this, and I think anybody can learn anything. I hate it when somebody gives me an excuse why they can't learn something. I'm too old, or I'm too whatever, and I just don't have that kind of mind. I'm thinking, look, you can learn it. Like, we all learn things, right? Some of us have to work a little bit harder than others. But when it comes to machine learning, man, I'm like, dude, it's just, do I have to go back to university to take more math classes or something? Because it does go right over my head sometimes. Let's see. Oleg says, Eric, how do you collect user statistics in internal use PhoneGap application for business clients? So for that, it's something we don't see. This is something, every time I bring this up to a client, and they have for example, one of our clients has a backend and Azure. So they built a backend API. I'm going from the API, and when they come to me and ask me, and then one of the things I said was, can we log? Like, can I just have like one endpoint that says log activity? Because I think it would be kind of cool just to have something where we, so we can see some sort of statistics. It doesn't, I don't want to have to go and do like another system like like Firebase or Google Analytics in this kind of situation where you guys have your whole reporting site, it would make more sense to go there. And a lot of times I just didn't get buy-in from them. And then of course when they call me and said, we got this one user who says it's crashing on this one like device, and again, or who else can this be affecting? I said, I wish I knew, but it would be nice if we had something where if we had a crash, we could report it somewhere. If we had something else, and we could do, it can easily put Google Analytics in there, but then you're having, then you're in a position where you're having to make your client, and it could be a client of a client of a client, have to go through, you have to add stuff to their privacy policies. They have to do all the kinds of stuff, and then it just gets too complicated. So for like internal use apps. So, but like, and I suggest it like every time, especially if it's like inside a firewall, because that would be really good just to have some sort of analytics there. Who's using it? When are they using it? And if you're not using Google Analytics, you could even do, well, I guess, yeah, you could. I guess there's moral implications here, but like you could do something like knowing who did what when, right? So you can say, when was the last time Jerry logged into the app? When was the last time whoever? So you could, but you can't do that as a it's against the terms and conditions of like Google Analytics and Firebase Analytics. So you can't do like specific information about like who that person is. Dinesh New Pain says, Eric, how do you make a budget proposal for client apps, like cost of development? So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll start with a ballpark quote. So, and that'll be just me based on other apps we've done in the past. And I'm getting better at it, because like when my first few clients, I way undercharged them. I had no idea how much. I would say some of it was scope creep, some of it was just all the questions that came to me. Like I charged like whatever the developers were charging, so I sent out to developers, and I would just add like a small markup to it, not even like charging for my own time, and not realizing how much of my own time was going to be required, and it does. So now I know how much my time does. So at the moment I will do it based on I think I'll try to do it based on what I think the developers will do. Sometimes it takes longer to go to the developers, so I'll send because it takes a while to do specification too. So we have to do the ballpark first. So that's the thing. Like if somebody says, I got an app, I run a picnic company. I want people to be able to plan their picnics, invite people, and then share experiences from old picnics they had. They should be able to share it on social media, and it should be a login, and I should have a website where we have our favorite picnic pictures and everything like that. And from that I'll go, that'll be whatever, between 3,000 and 5,000, or 10,000 and 15,000, or between 20 and 25,000, whatever. And that's just to stop, because what I don't want to do is go away and do like a long document specifying what everything does, break down the prices exactly, think of how much of my designer time is going to be used, how much of the developer time is going to be used, how much of my time is going to be used, how we get QA testing in there, right? Do we have it specified? Because once you put that price down, you don't want something to creep into the scope after that. Like, oh, but we mentioned in a meeting that we were going to do something. So that kind of stuff does happen. So yeah, and then at that point, so we'll do the ballpark first, and then we'll do the quote. I'm sorry, I'm waffling on there a little bit. Let's see. Corfunk says, what's been the most challenging thing you have encountered in Flutter, or the thing you wish were different? For me, the most challenging thing in Flutter has just been, and again, it was a few months ago, where for some reason the hot refresh just stopped working. And I don't know what it was like. It's mainly just being a newbie, and just going back in and doing that, but also just being able to. I haven't actually got to the point where I distribute anything and compiled it finally and everything. So let's see. Melissa Riley says, thanks for your answer, Eric. By the way, my son is graduating from high school this year and wants to join the Army, USA. As a former veteran yourself, do you think serving has changed your life for the better? Oh yeah, Melissa, definitely. It definitely has. Like I joined the army. I mean, I was very. This was back in 1990. Was back in 1990. So I'm old. So I didn't think my grades were good enough to get into college. And because because that's what teachers say. You say, if you don't get good grades, you won't get into a good school. And if you don't go to a good school, you're not going to get a good job. And then you're going to work at the gas station for the rest of your life. And I thought sounds about right. So I didn't apply to any colleges or any universities. I didn't do anything like that. And, but I did, but I come from a military family, so most of my family has been in the military. So it was kind of that was an option. It was like either I continue working in McDonald's I was working at after high school, and then in my mind I was playing it out like that won't be so bad. Like I've got friends at the McDonald's. Like I was very shy and introverted, so I didn't really make friends. But we'd move around a lot, so I didn't really make friends very well. And when it came time to actually to go like high school was done, I had no other plans. Even if you asked what I wanted to do, I think I wanted to be a writer one day. I think that was the one thing I did, but I wasn't working towards it. And I was very I was very patriotic. Like I thought, serve your country is like a noble thing to do. And then I went to the recruitment office, and they gave me and they asked me what I wanted to do in the well, first I went to talk to the Navy, and then I talked to the Army, and I think I talked to the Air Force. But again, that was a very low self-esteem. Like I didn't think I was smart enough to get into the Air Force. But it's like some of the smartest people I've ever met have been in the Army. Some of the dumbest people too. Don't get me wrong, right? Like some of the smartest people have been in the Army. But you have these preconceptions, so you go in and then I went to. So they asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to be a cop because it just sounded like a cool thing to say. I don't know why I said it, but I just said, "Oh, okay, all right." So I'm just scrawny and shy and quiet and almost spoke in a whisper, and they sent me to take this language test that was called Defense Language Aptitude and Battery, the D-Lab test, and where they gave you a fake language a test where you gave you a fake language and you had to figure out what it was, and a lot of it was just guessing, right? And apparently I got a good score on that, and they said, you're really good at learning languages. And I told them I failed French, because I did. I failed French in high school. I had to go to summer school. I went to summer school every year in high school. It was, mainly it was, so I went to summer school every year. And so they sent me to, so they said, you could be a linguist. So, and I said, because I was a James Bond kind of guy. So do you think I could learn Russian? And they said, we can't guarantee it, but with your scores, yeah, you'll probably get Russian. Yeah, we think you'll probably get Russian, right? That's what recruiters told me. And I went through basic training, which was shocking. Like I think everybody goes through basic training. The screaming in your face, the getting ran out into the front of the barracks first thing in the morning and doing grass drills and just tired, and every day feels like it's a month long, and it's just I would say it's hell, but there are real, like I was a linguist, so like after basic training it wasn't as hard for me as like other people went out to be like infantry or rangers or airborne or anything. So like I'm not saying that at all, but like anybody goes into such a shocking experience. But it did. I mean, one thing it did give me was discipline. Right? It was something that it was. I always felt. Well, until the end. I mean, after 4 years, I tried to decide whether or not I wanted to stay in or get out. And when it came to, and it was like it wasn't an easy decision. Like I had friends, fellow soldiers, who were like, as soon as my 4 years is up, I'm out of here, right? And other people were like, they were lifers. They were in for the long run, and I was never quite sure. So I went to leadership school. I got promoted to sergeant. I got promoted to sergeant, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to. Then it was like a snap decision about whether or not I stay in or get out, and I did get out. And they sent me to school to learn Chinese. So I went to school to DLI, Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California, for a year to learn Chinese Mandarin. They sent me to school in Goodfellow, Goodfellow Air Force Base in Texas for the technical side of the job, and then I got stationed in Schofield Barracks in Hawaii, right? Which was nice, actually, being in Hawaii for most of my thing. And it was 1990, so it was like there was a Gulf War going on, or it was like Desert Shield when I went in. And then so we were in Chinese class where we saw everything kick off, and it was like the first war that we've had since Vietnam. So all through my childhood, watching Rambo and Uncommon Valor and all these movies about like the horrors of war. And then we were going to war, and I was sitting in Chinese class, which is, but if they did say, like, if you walk out of Chinese class, like if you can't learn this stuff, then you're gonna go. So I had to, and I don't think I was a very good studier of Chinese. I was just, but there was one thing that the Army teaches you: you can do more than you think you can do, right? The slogan at the time was, "We do more by 9 a.m. than most people do all day," which is true, right? You're out there early. You've been out for a long run, or you've been doing the PT exercises. One of the big problems we'd have was just like sort of dozing off, but you didn't want to doze off in the classroom sessions. And when we did have classroom sessions, we did the bayonet training, the live grenade range, qualifying with our M16s, all that kind of stuff, and just being exhausted. And if there was one thing that always feeling like, we're like, as a teenager, I used to think it was always just me, but I think as I get older, I realize that probably most of us feel like we don't fit in, like we're not, everybody else can do this but me. Everybody else has this confidence to them that I just don't have. And it was one thing about the Army, which I was pretty good at it. I mean, it gave me such a hard time about being so quiet. When I shouted, when I sounded off, it took me a while to learn how to do it from the diaphragm. Just let it blare out. It's I think it definitely changed my life. If I didn't join the Army, I don't know where I'd be now. Right? It was a confidence boost. It was one of the self-esteem was so low. You feel like an outsider your whole time, and then you're in the service and you're doing things that are really hard. And when you're in the Army, well, this might be different now. I mean, because now we've been at war there's been wars and everything since then. This is back in the 90s, peacetime. It was a peacetime Army, but you kind of forget, because it's just the way things are. You get up early, you do what you need to do. You go to the range to qualify. You have to make sure you're physically fit all the time, and that's like it's not like saying you have ripped abs. You're just like, you have to be able to do the push-ups. You have to do sit-ups and run, and you get that lifestyle. And then when you get out, when I went to community college, so after I did get out of the Army, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to community college in Hawaii, and at Leeward Community College, and a lot of kids were just out of high school, like they were just go straight in there, and I was like an A student. I got so many A's. I think I had a 3 I think at the end of university I had like a 3.8 GPA. I might have been 3.6. It was something. But to me, it was like better than I'd ever done before. I was a C, D, sometimes F student in high school. So not because I was dumb, but just because I just, But sorry, I'm just rambling on, guys. Is this boring? But anyway, yes, Melissa, definitely. I think it will be. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough on. It's probably tough on you too. But yeah, I'm proud of the military service that I had. It's a lot of the people that in the Army with, you get very, very close to. And again, this is coming from somebody who was not. I was very rarely in combat. In fact, I have some very funny stories about times where, and I should tell them one day, but they take too long. But it's like where I, after a few years in the Army, when I went to leadership school, went back into the barracks, went back to drill sergeants and everything, and with infantry soldiers, because I was part of I was a linguist. I was part of military intelligence, so I didn't really deal with infantry a lot. And when I went to like the leadership school with the infantry guys, they were really good at. They thought I was super smart. They thought like the classroom stuff. But when we went out into the field, God, I just made so many dumb mistakes. You know, like march. So when you have to march the platoon, I marched the platoon or the squad. I marched the squad into a fence because you have to say it on the right foot, right? And like I'm trying to focus on be loud, you know, project your voice, you know, call the commands on the right foot and, you know, left face, right face, you know, forward march, all that stuff, right? And marching them into the fence. I've been times out in the field where where they were like the other guy, they were very helpful. Like I have nothing but respect for soldiers, you know, because well, I mean, having been one, but there was like the guy, the real hardcore guys who do all that stuff. I think it's cool. So good for him, Melissa. I highly recommend it. I mean, but you know, a lot of people were miserable there too. So, Ron San, hey, how's it going? Omar Buzamita says, hey Eric, how to choose an app idea? I think choose one that you would use, because if you're like the primary user of it, you're going to know exactly what helps it and what doesn't. Zombie Massim says, Eric, nice to meet you again. Nice to meet you too, Zombie Massim. Simon Suppertime says, let me know when this picnic app goes live. It's sounding better every time you subscribe it. Dude, man, yeah, that's it. All right, everybody forget I mentioned the picnic app. It's going to be called Picnic, but it's going to be it's going to be P-I-C, and then we're going to get rid of the next I and then a K. So P-I-N-C-K. That's pink. We'll think of something. We'll just go the full things. And the icon will have a picnic basket on it. Cord Funk says, and then you move to England, a real patriot. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Ron Sass says, my app was rejected. I sent them appeal request plus details, and they said it's because my icon. Should I just reply to their email, or should I open a new appeal to tell them that I have changed the icon? If it's just remove state, then you shouldn't have to tell them anything. Just release and do another submission. Change it. If it's suspended, then you do have to go through the appeal thing. Oleg says, did you use your language apps? Any languages except Chinese? So yeah, when I was in the Army, that was the other thing. I was in training most of the time. I was in the Army. So after a year. So yeah, there was 1 year at DLI at Chinese school. Then there was a 3 months at the AIT, which is the the training for the job, and then went to Hawaii. I was at Hawaii maybe about a year, and there was a shortage of Vietnamese linguists, so they asked for volunteers, and I volunteered, and they sent me back to school for 8 months to learn Vietnamese. Vietnamese is easier to read, much harder to pronounce. I found it much harder to pronounce, especially because we had a Southern Vietnamese teacher, and the differences between the Southern and the Northern dialects. I just found it so vast. Like so like we would say, like, what time is it? I know Kong, right? Is that right? Oh no, that's a Beza la Mesazoi. Like, where are you going now? Or South? No, that's Beza la Mesazoi. Like, what time is it? Right? But that's the Northern. But in the Southern, there's not that Z sound. So Beya la Meya, right? And it was just, and so I went to Vietnam yesterday I was at TED Talk. I talked to like a lot of Chinese people, like having a conversation. I could talk, about a lot of things because I kept it up. I went to Vietnam a couple years ago, or early last year, and it was like I didn't speak it at all. Like, I could read some signs. Like, it was embarrassing how little I remembered of that. Let's see. Glenn Ferris. Oh, did I miss any? Glenn Ferris says, Eric, do you think it's worth including Game Center for leaderboard functionality for an iOS game? Do enough people use Game Center? Yeah, I think they do. I mean, I've used it on a few games. In fact, I have clients who we did a client app where we use Game Center. We actually did it as a cross-platform one. So we use Game Center for iOS and Google Play Game Services for Android. And the thing is, I not being a gamer myself, I don't really know, but I think it's what they want you to use. I think probably enough people use it. And the one thing I don't like about Game Center and Google Play Game Services, if you do cross-platform, is you don't have a leaderboard that for everybody. And I think you used to be able to put Google Play Game Services in an iOS app, but I think they removed that functionality because they stopped supporting it because nobody was really using it. Julio PPL says, hi Eric, do you feel that you are able to balance work-life better having your own business than when you work for someone else? I don't know. There are times where I know that I shouldn't be thinking about work, and I am, and I'm getting better at it. But it's like there have been times where you're sitting at the kitchen table, you're sitting at the dinner table, and you're just thinking about the app or whatever you've been working on, and you're like not present there. And there's a time, or like I was doing the dishes and I'm all mad about some developer thousands of miles away, or I'm worried about something. I'll check, or on those months where it's really tight, and I check the balance before I go to bed, and I can't get to sleep. That could be a bit. That could be a bit difficult. It's like, God, I hope that invoice gets paid on time. I hope there's so much going on, and there are times where it's so overwhelming that it just feels like you just want to crawl under the bed and not come back out again. And then you think that, like, there are times where I just think, I'm just gonna go get a job. I'm just gonna go back and then like go in the daytime and then come home at night. I'm just gonna watch TV. And I'm not gonna think about anything else, right? And sometimes there's an appeal to that. Like I went to so I'll go to the gym in the morning, and I was talking about this time I went to the gym. No, it was one time I went to the gym. It was in the afternoon, and I just had the developers tell me something was running like late, and I had the client was very upset with me, or it was fine afterwards, but he seemed to be very upset with me. So like I just feel like, God, I guess I'm just the biggest turd in the world, right? So then I go to the gym and I hear other people just chatting about what was on some reality show the night before in the changing room. They're just chatting about whatever, and I'm thinking, maybe that is easier. Let's just do that, right? Yeah. But then you think, just it's nice to think we could build something, right? It was, we get into software not because, well, some people get into software because of the money. They become SharePoint developers. They become Salesforce developers. Some people get into software because of the money, but sometimes we just like to make things, build things, right? You have an idea and then you can build it, right? And it's, I love that about this. And I even like doing the videos. And I even like meeting with clients. I like going in there and looking at what they have, and they say, okay, Eric, so here's, we've got these employees that do this, we got this process that goes like this, and is there any way you can do it like an app can help with that? And you're thinking through all the tools in your toolbox, like, okay, yeah, we can run a Node.js script. So like I told you about one client application which had just one workstation which was downloading data into CSV files. So that was a case of, it sounds simple, but it was like just writing a Node.js script, a command line script using Node.js and Commander, which would run off Windows Task Scheduler, which would look for new files in this folder, it would parse them, upload them to a database. Then once we get to the database, then we get the mobile applications that can send push notifications, all that, just centralizing all that data. But it's like knowing all these different things. If I was doing C#, I would have used a file watcher and a Windows service, but back in the old days. Why am I talking about this? Oh, do I feel like the balance? Yeah, sometimes I do worry that maybe I don't have the balance as much. Like, I don't have any hobbies. I don't have any hobbies. Yeah. So, it might be. You'll see if I burn out sometime. Like you say, God, remember that guy Eric on before he completely lost it and shaved his head and became a hermit and lived out in a grass hut. Sebastian Holgerson says, better pay an expensive programmer to build an app and get it good and fat in the first place, or pay a cheap programmer and risk to have lots of bugs, etc. Greetings from Sweden. This is a good one because I'm always yeah, there've been times where I got go for the cheap developer, and then you have the bugs that you have to go in and fix yourself. Or but here's my fear, because I've been a very expensive contractor in London. So, well, it was expensive. It was like my top rate, I think it was 500 a day, but this was like 10 years ago. So you could do better than that now. So it was like, I knew how expensive I was, but I also worked with other developers who were also expensive, but they didn't, like, that didn't mean that they were good at what they did. That just meant they had the balls to charge more, right? They just had the balls to say, and the confidence to say, balls. The confidence. They had the confidence to charge more. And this is something that, because I am a software developer, and I kind of know what to look for, I feel like I don't have so much of a problem with that, like going for somebody who's cheaper, because if I can see the quality of the code, right? But sometimes you have to get that code first, and that means going through the process of bringing somebody on after a week thinking, this ain't working. So that's it. But yeah, just the price alone, Sebastian, I know a lot of developers out there will disagree with me on this. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys, right? But it's really a case if I'm hiring a plumber, I'm gonna go with if I say this guy's expensive and this guy's cheaper, the expensive guy must be better at what he does. But those two guys aren't talking to each other. They're not saying, oh, you know what, it's fair enough that you charge more because you're better than I am. No, he's got way more confidence than he does. So it's not like we're paying for a commodity, right? We're paying for something with the creativity of the developer and the skills of the developer. But let me know if you disagree with that. ChordFun can build your app, he says. Weather Action says, how much would you charge to implement the Mapbox and AdMob SDKs into React Native? All right, I don't know what Mapbox is. So I got a $1 refund from my previous project as it was a mess. I get a $1 refund, but I'm hoping this is enough. By the way, just looking around, not asking to work with you specifically. Let's have a look. I don't know what Mapbox is. This is like, I hope it's not something that I should be embarrassed about. Not customizable maps UI. Okay. Is this? Yeah, I think I would have to have a look at it, but it shouldn't be that much to do. I think when you talk about integrating maps, it's not just integrating maps. You think, how is it going to feed into the rest of it? Are you actually looking up? I think there's more to the how you're going to use it. Is it just like you have a map in your application and you have a few markers to say where certain things are, or is it something where you go in and you're looking up an address and it's doing the reverse geolocation to give you the latitude and longitude and stuff. So I think it's a bit more for that. So a bit more like explanations needed there. And probably seeing the existing code too, because that's looking at the existing code, going in there to implement it. That would be also a factor. Steve Green says, hello, started working on billing for my app. I'm almost done. I can see the finish line. Also, Weather actually got $1,300 refund, not $1. Let's see. Appavelli says, you should watch the baseball. I used to watch baseball all the time. In fact, getting up early. See, I'm in England, so, and my team is I'm wearing my hat now, San Diego Padres. So every year, every April, I think, okay, this year I'm gonna follow them the whole way through. But then usually around May when they start to suck. This year they've done pretty well, but now they're below 500 again. So I used to come in, sometimes I come in the morning, I'll put the game on, and yeah, it's just when I was I'll say teenager, I used to think one day I would like to just go and get season tickets to Petco Park in San Diego and just see every single game. Like old people do, right? It's I'll just go in and see every single game, and it's something I'd still like to do one day. Just live in San Diego and just live near Petco Park and just be able to go see the Padres play all the time and just put all your worries aside and do that. But Yeah, I guess I don't do it as much as I should, watching baseball. Stamatios Saras, did I say that right? I hope I said that right. Said, hey, Eric, we released our first game, but we have trouble getting organic downloads. Any thought? We did some advertisements, but we are lost a bit with ASO. Search Pop the Line Play Store. Okay, let's have a look at Pop the Line. All right. Pop the Line. Is this the versatility one? Let's see. Okay, so we've got Pop the Line. Tap to pop the line. Pick the correct color. I think so. Pop the Line is a really good name. I'm trying to think my question would be, what would people search? Like, what is the when you think, how do people find it? Because it's going back to the user acquisition report. If they're not getting to this page, so I'm looking at this page like in a critical way, because we do, but like it's even before we get, if it's acquisition that you're having trouble with, it's before we even get there. So like if we look at Pop the Line, which is new, isn't it? You just released on the 23rd of September, my sister's birthday, which you don't need to know, but I gotta keep. Let's see. Sorry, what am I looking for? Oh, App Annie. Keep logging me out. So, like, if we're looking at like what would people be searching for in order to find it, and then how could we work off those? So, like, and this is one of the things I don't do a lot of games. I mean, I have like learning games, but like their learning games are like specific. Like I know what keywords to target. So, like if it's like a learning game makes sense to me, because like somebody would be going in there and says I want to learn Spanish, and then that would be one that I would try to go for. But let's go to ASO. And the line, free line, the line. United States. Okay, so we don't have any in the United States, but yeah, I think that would be it. And this would be more geared towards, like, so if it's a game that's totally unique and you don't know what people will be searching for, what other games that are similar that you could possibly piggyback off of, not in your title and stuff, because then it'll end up getting removed, but might be able to do that where if you put some advertisements out attracting certain people, or look on, I mean, you could be like really sleazy about it. Well, it's not sleazy, but if you went on Twitter and somebody said, I really like this game, and you say, well, this one's, if you like that game, you'll probably like this one too, because it's very, it's the same kind of same level of fun and all that stuff. So I'd probably be better at answering these questions if I myself were a gamer. But as my kids will tell you, Dad, how come you never play games? But that's because of bad work-life balance. Coding with Kip says, I had an idea for an app, simple, but I made it work and made it flexible. Can you please review and tell me what you think about it? All it does is increments a number of infinite things you can decrement or reset. Do you think a simple app like this, done right, hopefully has any potential? Hang on a second. App simple, but I made it work with flexible. All it does is increment, like those counters, like the bouncers have when you go into a club, yeah, I'm not quite sure. So, incremental, infinite things. I suppose that would be good. Is it? Yeah, that seems like if you were doing something like just like a counter. But would that already exist? If I have it right, I'm not sure if I have it right. So, all right, let's look at Ian Riggs' game Rocket Dodge'em. Should we have a look at this one too? And then I'm going to have to start wrapping up because I'm getting hungry. And Julia's there in the background too. She's probably rocket dodging. And remember to smash that like button. We can say that more. And make sure you subscribe. And what else? What else should we say? Okay, let's rocket dodging. Oh, okay. So rocket dodging. Oh, but you rank number 2 for dodgems. Well, in the States they're called bumper cars, I guess. Dodge Man. Space rocket. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go down the list. Oh, sorry, was I sharing my screen? I wasn't sharing my screen. Let me go back to this one. All right, so this is the dodge. So you're ranking number 1 for. Sorry, every so often I forget to switch the screen. So if you ever see me talking about something on my screen and you can't see my screen, my apologies. But yeah, so you in the UK you're ranking first for dodgems. I'm wondering if that would be what people look for. So if someone was searching for dodgem, would they be looking for dodgem game, or would they be? Okay, so Bart Rocket says, Eric, you missed my above question about AdMob banner ads disappears a few days after the app goes live on iPhone X only. Oh, sorry. Is anyone else having this issue and how to fix it? I haven't noticed this, but nobody. I don't have an iPhone 10. See, I think the problem is I don't have an iPhone 10 as one of my testing phones, and I don't think anybody's going to tell me that the ads are missing. So I haven't noticed, but has anybody else? Ian Grigg says, Phil, gamers tend to look at game charts and featured games rather than search keywords typically. Yeah, I think in terms of keywords. So like what would people, how would people find it? Stefan B says, what would you choose for web ads monetized site? Full stack Angular React SPA or semi-responsive standard HTTP routing with partial JS pages for SEO ads. Oh, this is complicated. What would you choose for web ads monetized site? A full stack Angular React SPA or semi-responsive standard HTTP routing with partial JS on pages for SEO AdSense services. Server-side render isn't fully. So, good question. I always thought this about Angular, like in terms of SEO purposes. I think having more pages would be better in terms of the context of it. I mean, because you could have different keywords in your URL. I'm not an SEO guy, so but you would have more keywords in your URLs. And in the titles, so that would just be kind of the way I would think. But does anybody else have an opinion in there? I don't really have anything that like a website that makes money through ads. We tried for a while, but never got very far on that. Sebastian got a new subscriber. Yeah, shoo! Thanks, Sebastian. Appreciate it. Called Count All. Oh yeah, so yeah, Cody. I think that sounds like a good idea. But is it? Yeah, I think it sounds like a good idea. I was wondering if it would be if there'd be anything else on there. So let's see. So Stamatios Soros says we had some good traction on some keywords, some countries. Do you think it's worth focusing on them to get ranked higher? Yeah, I mean, if you can, I mean, so it's, if it's working, then yeah, try to, keep that going. I mean, it's all about getting people into that app page, right? It's all about getting people to that app page, and then you're talking about discoverability, which is like, how are they finding it? Is it through an ad, which is kind of an easier option, or is it through search? And then if it's through search, are they actually clicking on the page. And then once you're on the page, then you have a little bit more control over it, because that's when they make the decision of when to actually download it. So like before you get to that part, it's almost like outside of your control, unless you're doing ads and you can get it in front of people. So like, how do you get people to look at it and say, okay, yeah, I do want that. I don't know why I did that. So anyway, last, I'll watch the recap. So, Cody with Kip, this is Flutter Buddy. I rebranded and it's supposed to be pronounced Chip. Oh, sorry. At least that's what I imagine. All right, sorry about that, Chip. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks very much for joining on the live stream this week. I'm going to wrap things up and go get some dinner. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Oh, I don't think there's going to be a video tomorrow. I need to go somewhere tomorrow, and I have not done a video for tomorrow yet. So we might miss the Saturday video, but I might try to get up on Sunday instead. So anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Have a fantastic week ahead, and I'll talk to you guys again next time. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button, etc., etc., etc. Talk to you later. Bye.
Taking this blindfold off to see what this life's all about. Threw my virtues to the ground, drinking from the devil's cup. Take that